All right, guys, I'm going to start this off in a way I thought I never would. You can hit like, thumbs up, all that stuff. Subscribe for sure. We need you with this, man, and our quality and everything's going to get much better. There's going to be a little preview of some things that are to come. I'm going to talk some shit about a couple of guys who commented on some things because it's just the nature of my beast. I kind of like doing it. Put them out there, tell them about themselves, and let everybody watch. That's going to be the get down right there. I'm going to show you what it means when somebody says, "Oh, they slipped their cuffs and this and that." What people think, "Oh, they slipped them off." Now I'm going to show you the whole get down on that. We're going to show you that. There are going to be a few things going on. I'm going to tell you a couple of things, and you know, when people don't understand how much thought. You know, people talk about gangs and they think, "Oh, street gangs, drive-bys, 90 miles an hour down the street, shoot some kid out on the porch." No, that ain't the get down. When you're talking about these prison tips, all right, you're not talking about stupid individuals, man. These cats are bright. And so I'll tell you a little something that a couple of the gangs in the back decided to do with the whites. And you know, you got your three-letter gangs. You got your two-letter gangs, your A, B. That some say it exists, some say it don't. You know what you know. It is what it is, and we are what we are. But in any event, here's how it goes. So they decide that there's going to be a crafty move. The order is going to come down that anybody that gets out, any white dude that gets out of a California prison, is obligated to find somebody in the hole or somebody and send back $23 out of their $200 gate money. And you think, "Oh, it's 23 bucks. It ain't nothing." If that individual gets out and doesn't send that back and he ever comes back again, guess what happens? If he doesn't want to be in the hat, the sombrero, the stingy bin, the fucking beanie, and everything else, he goes right to the top of the list to make a move and move on somebody. That's pretty crafty. Because a lot of dudes will get out and they won't do it and they will come back. Now they're going to have to put in work to clear that up. All right. And then some guys will get out, pick somebody, send $23 back into them people, and those people are all getting this fucking money coming in, right? So they got hitters that are failing to do it, that they're now getting hits done for them, controlling that, or this motherfucker will get hit too. And then they got money coming into dudes to help them go to store and all of that. And even right down to the amount, the dollar amount that must be sent back in. When you think about it, why 23? Why not 22? Why not 20? Why not a nifty 50? You know? Yeah, sporty 40, whatever. Why not that amount? Well, 23 has some significance when it comes to being white, and that's the 23rd letter of the alphabet, which is in and of itself the W for white power, white people. Whatever you want to do, that's 23. You'll notice the white guys in prison all doing sets of 23 burpees, 23 this, or 23 that. That's because it represents that W. And so that's how much thought went into this whole thing. There was no losing for these guys. $23 coming into somebody's books, coming in from several different places. When the white guys parole, it doesn't make it. The guys come back on a violation. Guess what? Somebody needs to be leaking at some point, have a couple holes put in them. This cat that didn't send his 23 is now picking up a piece and going and whacking that dude. And that's how they get down with. There's a lot of thought goes into it. And I see these Johnny come latelys on this internet, and I'm not big on calling dudes out, but I'm going to tell one person all about himself. His name is Dubs. And you see him all over this fucking internet and everything. Fly by night motherfucker. Likes to drink and run his mouth. Okay, so I've seen his paperwork. The dude checked in. He checked in before he ever really checked in. Went to the hole. He couldn't hang. Got scared. Put one hand over his fucking starfish and raised the other in the air and said, "Get me out of here before somebody sticks something in that." Right? And then he gets out here, gets on the internet, and claims he's all this, two snow cones and a fucking moon pie, but he's nothing. He's nothing. He's never been nothing. He's not cut from the cloth. His paperwork said that he was an MA dropout. Come on, dude. Me, you, and anybody else that knows some of them guys knows that you ain't cut like that, man. You ain't made like that. You weren't built for them. They would eat you up, chew you up, and spit you out. So when you go making claims to be something, because the only thing you've done right there is you've invited those guys to one day treat you like they treat their dropouts, which means they're going to make an example out of you. But hey, that's between you and them. So I'm just talking to you, Dubs. Anybody else that wants to listen can. Okay? But you're a fucking powder puff, dude. You and your little car and all of that, your little internet things. You ain't nobody. You've never been nobody. You never will be nobody. What you are is a motherfucker that hit a line, went to the hole, bitched up because you knew you couldn't hang, raised your hand, covered your starfish so it didn't get violated on your way running out the fucking door, went over to some soft ass fucking PC yard and started pressuring a bunch of lame sex offenders and fucking weirdos and acting tough. And now you're out here acting like you was somebody, but you ain't never been nobody and you ain't never gonna fucking be nobody. And I'm telling you that anybody else that wants to listen that knows what time it is knows what time it is. And that's just me. And look, you can go on my website, get my fucking phone number and text me a message. Hello, mister. I'll come get that fucking starfish. That's where we're at. Okay, so you just let it be known. I will get that ass. But in any event, I mean, this is all for entertainment purposes anyways, but wouldn't that be entertaining, right? We can get in an octagon, me and you, do whatever. We can go on felonyfights.com. We can do our thing any way you want to, and I'm an old man. But I got one good one fucking left in me, and you're welcome to it if you want it. In any event, Dubs, like I said, you're a bitch. Everybody heard it. It is what it is. Now, when I come on this show and I do something and I tell this audience and I say, hey, I vouch that this person is this, you can bank on it. Take it to the fucking bank that that's what that person is. Now, Dubs gets on here and says that Bartos was never squad or CO or nothing. I was in prisons with that fucking dude, Dubs. You're just a liar, a fake and a fraud and a part-time broad trying to make something out of fucking the internet, talking about shit you don't know a fucking thing about, and you got a couple of your homie the clowns with you, Fire Marshal fucking Bills and these fucking yo-yos you got running around following you around, doing the same fucking thing. I say you quit drinking, get your fucking head straight, quit claiming that you're something you're not, quit claiming that you were something that you aren't, and don't invite that kind of trouble. And that's where that's at. So I just needed to get that out to you. I don't have your phone number, and I took the time to look into it, but I needed you to know. Now, Bartos, not only was he a CO, but he was one of the respectful ones. And if you're one of those guys that says, oh, you can't respect him, well, you know what? I don't respect you because you ain't a fucking man. I respect men. I respect women, but I respect a man that can shake my hand, look me in the eye, and doesn't go out of his way. And that man right there was one of those COs that didn't go out of his way to fuck with people. You weren't doing no major violations. He wasn't out to get you. And that's just that. He come in and he gave a perspective from their side of it. A lot of people liked it. Another thing is, so there's that, you know what I mean? And I've been around a long time, all right? You got people talking about the fellas and this and that. Look, I was around. I can talk about Dean Lakey, Bobby Butler, and all these guys from the old school. Ronnie Harper, which is Harpo, and his punk Jerry, all right? Back when they killed Donnie Parrish, my homie. I could talk about Bleaky Grimfin and Palm Hall when they killed Loser and his son when Gangster, they claimed Gangster whacked him. So, been around a long time, brother. And you don't get your comeuppance by thinking you can tear motherfuckers down on the fucking internet. That's who you are. People want to come on this channel, I'm going to tell you something else I'm going to do, Scott, that none of you motherfuckers are doing because you're fakes and frauds, and some of you are full-time frauds. But in any event, what I'm going to do, I've got it on order right now from Amazon. There's a lie detector test coming. The real Don Steele, what they do in the fucking police department when they ask you, did you fucking steal homeboy's starfish? And you say, well, no, I didn't. And he goes, bing, 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 bing. You're a liar. You're a booty bandit. And that's the end of that. So we're going to get that fucking lie detector. We're going to hook it up right here. We're going to put a camera on it. We're going to put them side by side. And I'm going to ask you questions about everything I've ever said on this thing. Oh, did you get into it with the Aztecs? Did this happen when that happened? It sure did. And you'll be able to see that needle live go nowhere because I don't lie. I don't have to fucking lie. I live my life, and my life is a good story, even the bad parts. But in any event, we're going to do that. That's coming down the pipe soon. Nobody's ever done it. They haven't done that. I got a couple cats that are on death row that are going to be calling in. We're going to bring that to you. I'm going to talk to them a little bit. And I think right now, so anyways, fuck Dubs and his little crew of powder puffs. In any event, so I just thought I'd go there and maybe we can have a good old get at each other through the fucking podcast and everybody watch the get down. I don't know if that's fun or not, but it could be entertaining. So you hear people talk about slipping cuffs and stuff, and you hear all these stories about how people do things in prison. The Guyver on the inside, right? I'm going to be showing you things from time to time. But right now, what I'm going to show you is, you see this thing right here? This little clip right there. All right, metal clip. when you're in a hole and stuff, they peel those off your envelopes. And there's a reason they do that. These things right here, you know, if you're familiar with them, I'm sorry about that. And if you're not familiar with them, hey, lucky you, right? So there's those. When people talk about slipping cuffs, they're not talking about pulling them off their fucking wrist. They're talking about slipping them. Like I said, man, words have meanings. Everything means something. So let me see here. Okay, this is kind of bent up, and because I've been doing demos for people, but this right here, okay, is in fact, let me go ahead and lean up a little bit for you. That right there is in fact a piece of the clip off of the back of one of these, right? So you got that. Now, what we got here, and I'm not going to do it behind me, and I'm out of practice. I had surgery on my hands, and one excuse is as good as another, but it is what it is. I want to do it up here so that I can show you. Now, they lock these cuffs, they put them on you, and you're in the cell. Now, you back up. While your bunky's getting cuffed up, you got this little clip that comes off the back of one of the manila envelopes, right? And you're sliding it right in that right there, okay? Right there. And then, and you're gonna go like that. You're gonna open that fucker up just like that. But you don't open them up all the way. You just pull them enough to where you're loose. Now you're loose, but you're keeping them back there because the cop's going to have you come out. Okay, so you got them hooked on your wrist to where they're just like this. No longer are they in there. You don't care about the key no more if it hit the ground because you don't need it. You're already loose, man. And you're behind you. And you're going out there and you got your knife, you got whatever it is you're going to do, your cutter, and you get up close. Now they're cuffing your celly. Now when you're stepping out, your celly's stepping back. And guess what? Pulling his fucking cuffs too. And when you get close to the person you want, you're loosening that up. You only need one loose, and you're getting on it. You know what the cops do when that happens? Whoa, they jump back. The gunner tries to get on it, and you're doing that thing. So that was that's the back of the envelope on how that works. And a lot of joints, especially in the feds, they give you these locks right here. These little, you know, they're like this. Now, I tore this one apart several times. But it's your lock for your locker. The feds, even in the United States penitentiaries, and I've been in a bunch of them, they give you these. You can pull the back off. When you pull the back off, you pull out, everything comes out. You'll see this spring in there, right here, the back of that lock. These things are nice because you can do a lot of things with these. First thing you can do, same thing you just did with that. These things are real nifty for that. You put the cuffs on. They put them cuffs on you, right? Get them on. Like so, same thing. This little doohickey right here will slide right in there, and it'll do exactly what the other one did. It'll slip them cuffs, okay? And you come out of them. It's just that quick, that easy, that fast. So when you hear people talk about slipping cuffs, it doesn't mean they're slipping them here. What they're slipping is this, the teeth. They put this between the teeth and the ratchet, okay? And they slip them. And that slips these deals just like that. See how it slips it open? That's how they're doing those. These cuffs are a false sense of security for anybody that thinks they do the trick. They don't. And it's not just that. I'm going to show you more stuff too. I'll show you how to take a toothbrush like they give you in the shoe and everything. And out of that little white toothbrush, make a key like that. Okay? And you make one out of a toothbrush that fits right in that hole. And what it is that when you lay this down, you can measure from here to there to there. And once you get the measurements on this, on a little piece of paper, just a couple of lines, you got this thing mastered. You can make a key out of plastic. And a lot of guys have lost their life behind some of this stuff. Now, this spring in the back of here, it's really good. And it's good because it springs still and you can cut through a bunk with all that. You can do that. It takes a little longer. You have to make a handle for that. And then, hand me that clip. People get their hands on one of these sometimes. And when you get your hands on one of these are spring steel too. These things right here, you take them and you break these suckers in half and they break right here. All right. And when they break right there, that spring steel will cut right through a metal bunk. And you can cut a knife out about that long. Takes you one night. Get down there, sharpen that up on the floor, on the cement floor. Get you a nice little blade going. And you're good. You don't need to sharpen more than just the tip. Once you open that skin up, you're just going to run the rest of that in. It is what it is, you know. And there's a little insight on some of the things that take place, and the politics of prison, man. It's vicious when you get down into where dudes are thinking about all day long one thing: how can they kill you? If I get next to you, how can I put this in you? What cop can I make slip? You know. And okay, so I'll take you to Bloody Beaumont, and you got Snuff in Bloody Beaumont, and I think he was sad. Pretty sure that's what he was. But Snuff's a vicious dude, man. And Snuff is sealed up with, I think it might have been a Southsider at the time. I'm not sure. He was Mexican, might have been a Latin King. Not real sure. But he was sealed up with him. And there was a black dude across the way from him just talking shit because they were in the cell. But there's one cop who was very loose with what he did with cuffs and everything. So when Snuff and Sully went to the yard, man, they stayed out there and they held that yard until this cop that's really loose with everything got back, right? When he come out there to get them, they said, yeah, we'll cuff up. So they did. They slipped their cuffs. They hit that cop. They hit the other cop. They took their keys. They got on the tier. They locked it. They put a key in there. They broke it off so that the cops couldn't get down the tier. They went down to that black dude's cell. They opened it up. They went in there and they killed him. They butchered that dude. Butchered him. Walked around, asked anybody else if they wanted out of the cell. No, fellas, I'm good. I don't want no part of none of that right now. I'm trying to go home when my time comes. And so they caught a hot one. They shut the hole down in Bloody Beaumont at that time and redid everything because they seen some security foul ups and fuck ups. And Snuff and them went up to ADX to do their little 8 or 11-year program, what they got for the body. And that's how that happened. So, you know, this whole thing right here, it's all based on a true story. Tools of the trade, man. That's how it works. And anybody who's done any time knows this get down, done any real time in any holes or had to hit somebody. They know what time it is. I'm not. Everybody's like, oh, you're in a major violation. You're putting this shit out there, and now people know. And get right, fool. Fucking feds know about this. They all know how we do this. The thing is, they can't stop it. You can't stop it. Them cops are trying to figure out how to get one step ahead of us, and we stay one step ahead of them. It's just what happens. Now, a black box. When you're getting out of a black box, this shit gets tricky, okay? So I used to, I would carry one of these for years, all right? Now, and the way I would carry one of these around with me was I had a glass case. They can't take it from you for your glasses, right? A little black one. And between the plastic clip and the case, this thing would fit perfect. Bam. They never found that. Even when I was on Con Air, them marshals never found it. Con Air is the real deal. I mean, that plane leaves from different areas and it'll land in Oklahoma where the hub is. And Con Air, when it lands, say it lands in Tennessee, they're going to pick up some dudes from them prisons around. Their buses are coming. Them marshals get out. They get them machine guns out from underneath the plane. They circle around that motherfucker with them fucking guns, shotguns, machine guns, and everything else. And they load that fucking Con Air up. And you know it's Con Air, and you can always spot them because the thing that's different about Con Air and all the other planes is that fucking white plane has no marks on it. Okay? It's just pure white. And it flies around and does its fucking thing. And the marshals don't play. But in any event, where was I going with this? I was going somewhere with it. The black box. All right? So the black boxes are tricky because if they lock your cuffs down in there, you'll play hell getting out of it. Okay, but you do things at the point of them putting the cuffs on to create what you hope would keep a cop from locking it or locking them good. And if you can keep them from getting a lock on it or a good lock on it, you can do the same thing. With this right here, you can slip that fucking cuff going down inside the box like that, pushing that down in there, and you can open that cuff up on the black box. And that's real. And I can tell you that because I've done it. And there'll be guys that say, oh, that's a lie. You can't do this, blah, 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 blah. You know what I say? Shut up, start sucking dick again. That's what you do. Bottom line is you can do it. There's no reason. And I'm going to get hooked to the box with the needle that's going to show you guys that everything I say to you is based on a true story. It's factual. It is the real deal. The real Don Steele. And let me see, I was just told I got to talk into the mic because sometimes it doesn't pick up, but I got a pretty loud voice sometimes, so it does pick up. But there's this, and when I do the MacGyver behind the wall, I'm going to show you how we tear down radios and turn them into amplifiers for radios. And I'm going to show you how I can take a sheet protector, plastic, and turn it into the front of a speaker cone. How I can take wire from a transformer or a it's a transformer between 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 volts like that. So I can take the wire out of that that's coated and make a coil for a speaker and glue the coil to the plastic cover that I just made. Get a little magnet out of a pair of headphones, just a little round magnet. Throw it on the back with a bar. Hook that to the amplifier we just built, and create a freaking boombox that'll have them coming and tell you from the next building, hey, you got to turn that down. And I did that for a while. That was my hustle for a little bit in the feds, and I showed a couple people in the state how to do it when I was getting ready to get out. Before that, I never showed nobody. I glue it up in ways that if you tried to figure it out and reverse engineer it, you tear it all apart. Nobody could do it. But there's a couple people now that know how to do it. In any event, that stuff's gonna come your way. This program right here, you see it, you sign up for it. Know, trust, and believe. You're never going to know what's coming down the pipe because we don't know what we're doing. An idea comes, we're going to get out there, we're going to get after it, bring you the best we can. And as things progress and we start to get in positions to up our game, the quality of what's being brought to you guys is going to increase big time. And in the meantime, as I said in the beginning, I need you to hit subscribe, a few other things, man, and get on here and do the thing. And you know what? I'm going to cut this short right now. It's been a pleasure getting at you guys. And Dubs, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you're a jukebox hero. In any event, there it is there.